Welcome to part 1 of my purple exploding star quilt. So first things first, we're going to fold the material, we're going to trim up one edge, and we're going to make strips of fabric that are 10 3/4 inches wide. After that, I'm going to take those strips and make blocks that are 10 3/4 inches. So that's what I'm doing here. This shape cut is the most handy piece I have. When I got done, I used my spare material there to make 5-inch blocks. My finished blocks on this quilt are 4.5, so we cut 5 inches to give me a 1/4 inch seam allowance on all sides. Doing the same thing here with my light gray. I have fewer big blocks on this color and more of my solid 5-inch blocks, so I'm cutting all these down. Make sure you invest in a good cutting board and a good rotary cutter. I have a 45mm rotary cutter here. Fiskars brand is my preferred, but just something you're comfortable with. I needed 48 of these blocks, so it was quite a task. Got all my blocks here. I'm going to stack them up. Took them off screen to press them. Now I'm matching them up with their friends, and I'm going to get my Magic 8 blocks together. So I put the right sides of the material together here. Had to figure out how to trace this because my ruler was not big enough. And I'm going to make an X and just pin it. I'm going to do a test here. So I'm going to take that line and I'm going to line it up on the side of my 1/4 inch foot. It gives me a 1/4 inch seam on one side. I'm going to do that on the other side of the same line and then turn and do it on both sides of the opposite line. When I finish with that, I'm going to cut on those lines, giving me 4 triangles. And then I'm going to take those triangles and cut them in half once more to give me a total of 8 half square triangle squares. I rigged me up a little ruler here, and I'm just going to go through and do all of my blocks this way. I work in an assembly line type method, and I do the same thing over and over until it's complete. That way I'm not jumping from task to task, and it helps my ADHD focus. So I'm using a heat erasable fabric pen here. It is absolutely fantastic. You can find them on Amazon very affordably. I split a pack with my mother actually, and so I have one pen and 4 different colors of ink. I'm using the blue here. And to erase it, you literally just put the iron on it. It's that simple. You want to make sure that you have the right size of the material together here. As you can see here, the blue doesn't really match up, so we're going to change it to white. If you don't know, to find the right side of the material, rub it in your fingers. The right side will be slick. The wrong side of the material will have a bit of a grip to it. So I'm just doing this over and over so I can get all of my blocks done. Switching back to my blue ink. And now we're going to sew. So I'm going to line that up on one side of my 1/4 inch foot and sew. And then I do not pick up my foot in between my pieces. I just keep sewing. When I'm done, I'm going to leave them attached, turn it around, and sew down the other side. Once I've done one direction, I cut them apart, trim my threads, and then I sew the other direction. Same thing. I leave them attached until I get both sides. Then I'm going to trim my threads and take out my pins and switch my threads to match my next set. because I am very particular and I want my threads to blend in. Once again, line it up on one side, go all the way down, leave them attached together, turn it around, down the other side, trim all my threads, go the other direction. I'm going to keep doing this. I only showed a couple colors here just because it took a long time. I do backstitch on the beginning and end of each piece just to make sure that my stitches are secure. Trim in, taking out my pins. Had a little extra toddler help here, so I had to repin this one. I always do a test on a piece of scrap material when I change out my thread, just to make sure that it's not getting all bunched up. It's just my preferred method. Doesn't mean that you have to do it, but I'd rather take 2 extra minutes to do a test strip than have to rip out an entire seam because I have thread spaghetti at the beginning. That's it. Gonna put my machine away, take out my pins, trim my threads. Thanks for joining me. Make sure to like and subscribe the channel. Turn on notifications so you can see when all my future videos are posted. I will see you next time. Happy quilting.